Alrighty, good morning everyone. We're going to get started in just 1 minute here. If you haven't already done so, please fill out the poll that is on your screen, just kind of getting an idea of who's all in the room, where everybody is at. That's great. For those of you who it's your first time joining us today, welcome. We're glad that you are part of this program, and we can't wait for you to see all the other courses that we have. And that way you can be able to see what has been presented so far. You can go into our Google Classroom, which you can access with your SJSU email, and see all of the courses that have been presented so far, resource materials, and more to help you with this transition from high school to San Jose State University. Couple things that we want to talk about today. We're going to have several different presenters joining us from our departments of, one moment here, Student Involvement, our Writing Center, Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, and Peer Connections. We'll have a couple reminders and another poll for you at the end as well. But again, today we're going to be joined by several great departments here to learn more about their services, ways to support you in your journey of personal and professional development from at San Jose State University. So go ahead, continue to fill out that poll. It'll be up for just 1 minute more as we transition to have our first presenter begin with us. So again, thank you to those who are joining us. Congrats on it's Friday. It is the weekend, so definitely make sure you take that time to relax and enjoy yourselves this weekend as well. Thank you to those that, wow, 71% of our students have been with us from the beginning. That is awesome. We're glad that you are here with us. We hope you continue to join us next week as we have some great programming lined up for you, all about actually planning that academic schedule, that schedule for the fall, starting that 4-year plan. That's awesome to hear. More than half of our students said all this has been great, as we see here. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and transition it now over to our partners, our folks at Student Involvement.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are very excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about our programs with you all. Let me share this presentation really quick. Alrighty, so we are with Student Involvement. Just kind of a quick overview is Student Involvement is a great hub on campus that has a lot of different programs and ways to get involved, different student organizations and everything. So it's a really great first spot to start at if you're trying to figure out all the great things you can do on campus. So we'll just introduce ourselves really quickly. My name is Dylan Mazelis, and I currently serve as the Leadership Development Coordinator with Student Involvement. So we'll talk a little bit about what that means, but some background on me, I'm originally from the East Coast. I'm a first-generation student, so to be completely honest, I never had any intentions of going to college, and then here I am working in colleges for the rest of my life. So just shows you the testament of how getting involved can really change your course and what you think you're capable of doing.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Ana Carrillo. I'm the Interim Operations Coordinator. So really what this means is I help with the background work of our office. I help all the maintenance and the background stuff. So I'll share a little bit about myself as well. I'm from Gilroy, so super close to San Jose. Both my parents are San Jose State alumni from a long, long time ago. I graduated from UC Santa Cruz in 2019, and I'm also happy to just be here with y'all this morning. All right, so just really quickly, we want to go over our agenda for this morning. So the first thing we'll talk about is why you should get involved, what opportunities could arise by getting involved on your college campus, and then kind of just going specifically into how you can get involved in our department, our office. So with recognized student organizations, fraternity and sorority life, leadership development, weeks of welcome, and we'll go way deeper into all of that as our presentation goes along. And then we'll just end with some contact info for y'all.
Great, thank you, Anna. So just a little overview of why it is important to get involved in college. First of all, it's just a great way to make friends, meet mentors, and enjoy your time in college. As you can see, we've got a lot of different fun events that you can just use to let off steam, relieve some stress, meet some new people, but also a lot of different learning and fun that can happen along the way. There are so many studies and interviews and research and data that shows how getting involved really affects your whole college experience overall. It's not just something to fill some free time or maybe learn some skills on the side. There's so much data that really proves the more involved you are on campus, there's a higher chance that you'll be persisting all the way through graduation. So it helps you in terms of getting connected to campus resources, feeling that sense of belonging and feeling like this is your home, this is your community, and making the most of your time in college. So it's definitely something that you should be considering and taking seriously just as much as your classes. Thinking about the difference between co-curricular and extracurricular, you may have heard of the term extracurriculars before in terms of different things you can do in high school, after school, sports and things like that. We like to frame it a little bit differently. So instead of it being extra in addition to what you're doing in the classroom, it's co. So it's kind of happening alongside what you're learning in the classroom. So there's going to be a lot of great information you're learning from your professors and in your textbooks and your assignments and everything like that. Our job is to provide opportunities for you to expand on those, apply some of the things you're learning, so you can really make that holistic development. And then lastly, you will have many opportunities to explore yourself, your strengths, and what you like to do. I know for me personally, it was definitely a way that I could identify some of the skills that I had that I wasn't aware of. I never thought I would be interested in event planning until I just saw some cool people who were in an event planning student org when I was in undergrad. And then I realized it's a lot of fun and I'm actually kind of good at it. So there's a lot of things that you can discover along the way that you just will never know until you try.
Thanks, Dylan. All right, so jumping into recognized student organizations. So here at San Jose State, clubs and organizations are known as recognized student organizations, or RSOs. In the fall, you all will have the opportunity to become a member of over 450 recognized student organizations. So the types of organizations range from academic and honorary, focusing mainly on making or maintaining your grades. Club sports is for like the athletics, the sports. Cultural and religious orgs are identity based. So whether it is like your culture being, like for myself, for example, Latinx, Chicana, first generation, whatever that might be, or religious. So they're identity based. And sorority and fraternity, which we'll get into a little bit later, those are Greek lettered organizations, and special interests. So from the pre-nursing club to the Harry Potter or Pokemon clubs, SJSU has an organization for you. And on the off chance that you don't find what you're looking for on one of the clubs that already are recognized, our department helps y'all through the process of creating your own organization. So briefly and simply putting, a few things that you would need are at least 8 members. So recruiting folks to join the club, a constitution, which is basically a list of principles that your organization would follow throughout its course, and an on-campus advisor. So if y'all are interested in that, we will talk about how we can proceed with that once you're on campus. All right, and moving on to fraternity and sorority life. So fraternity and sorority life is a part of recognized student organizations. So nearly 1,500 students are involved in Greek life at SJSU. San Jose State is home to about 35 active chapters that fall under one of the following councils. So the first is the Interfraternity Council, or IFC, which consists of 12 social fraternities on campus. Then we have the Panhellenic Council, or PHC, which is comprised of 6 social sorority organizations at SJSU, and they are all a part of the National Panhellenic Conference, or NPC. So that is also comprised of 26 women's organizations. SJSU is also home to 8 organizations within the National Panhellenic Council, or NPHC, that derive from the Divine Nine, which are historically African American and Black organizations. And then lastly, we have the United Sorority and Fraternity Council, or USFC, which are 14 Greek letter organizations under this council that are identity-based. So this is a lot of Asian, Filipinx, Latinx, and multicultural based organizations. So I know this is a lot of information that was thrown at you really quickly, but if y'all are interested, there will be lots of opportunities for y'all to get to know more about each of these councils and each of the organizations.
Great, thank you, Anna. Going into some of the leadership development programs that I oversee, just want to point out that leadership skills help you find success in the classroom, in your clubs and internships, in interviews, and on the job, and more. So college is just a great time to really hone those skills so that you can be successful in the future. Looking at a few of the opportunities that we offer, we'll be starting a new program this fall called the Emerging Leaders Program, which I am personally very excited about. It'll be all for first-year students at SJSU, so that includes first-year transfer students, but mostly first-year freshman students, so folks like yourselves. And that will pretty much be a small group of students that we will be meeting about once a month throughout the semester, talking about different leadership content, exploring your strengths, getting you connected to different campus resources and mentors and things like that, and then getting involved in some other things in between those meetings. So we're really excited to launch that program, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in the fall. Another opportunity that we'll have in October is the Leadership and Career Conference. So it will be a virtual experience this year, but it's just, we're gonna make sure that that only means it's gonna be better. It's a great full day opportunity. We work with the Career Center, which has a lot of great resources in terms of resume development, helping you prepare for interviews and getting connected to potential employers. So we pretty much take leadership and career and make a jam-packed day where you can just learn from different alumni, student leaders, panels of staff, getting into really different kinds of leadership topics. You can choose your own adventure. So that's a really fun, free day that I'd recommend you sign up for. We also have one-off workshops and consultations. So if you're interested in just going to like a 1-hour workshop, or if you want to sign up for a consultation with me, just to get some more kind of one-on-one time to talk about your specific goals and interests, you can always do that. I am very available. I love chatting with folks. So please get on my calendar if you're interested. We also have the Leadership and Career Certificate Program, which is a semester-long opportunity. It happens mostly online in the Canvas course, which is where you'll access a lot of your classes. And that's pretty much a self-paced opportunity. You can learn a lot about leadership and career skills over the course of a semester at your own pace in your free time. So it's a kind of lower stakes, but still a lot of impact. The Leadership Today retreat is a 3-day, all expenses paid kind of retreat. We take you off campus. We house you, we feed you, and we just dive really deeply into some leadership and social justice topics. It is an absolutely amazing experience. I would highly recommend it for anybody who is interested, and that will be happening in the spring as well. And then lastly, we have the National Society for Leadership. Oh, that says retreat, but it's a National Society for Leadership and Success. And that's a national honor society that you can join. And you get lifetime membership, and there's all these other perks involved, like partner discounts, scholarships, an online job bank that you can access at any time. So a lot of great resources that we're trying to provide for you. I know, again, this is a lot of information. Take it all one step at a time. You'll have plenty of time to start learning more about these different opportunities. And the last chunk that we're going to talk about is campus programming. So that's kind of our last category of involvement that we have out of our department. And campus programming provides many opportunities for students to meet each other and have fun. And this includes our Weeks of Welcome events each semester. So Weeks of Welcome is about the first month of every semester, just a few weeks of jam-packed with all different kinds of events, in-person, virtual, academic, just fun, social, lots of different categories of events, just kind of dumping them all on the calendar so you can take a look, see what you're interested in, see what you want to check out, but not feeling obligated to go to anything because there's so many options. So just a few of the past things that we've had include our Spartan Speaker Series, which is an ongoing program that we bring famous people to campus to talk about different leadership skills and their experiences and identities and struggles and successes and all of that great stuff. We have an outdoor movie night. We've had a silent disco. We've got escape rooms. We'll actually have a virtual escape room coming up in the fall, so very excited about that. We've had a paint night, video game night, a snow day, block party, arts and crafts, bowling night, and just so much more. So this is a really open category of events where we just program for the entire campus. Anybody who's interested can come, but they're usually just so much fun. Definitely worth checking out. So just kind of thinking about some reflections on all of this. I know Anna and I both mentioned a little bit of our experiences getting involved on campus in relation to our identities and such. For me, it is the best piece of advice that I can give you when coming to college as a first-year freshman. Get involved. It doesn't have to be with our office. We won't be offended if you choose to get involved in other ways on campus. But it really is, as I was mentioning, it really does help you develop that sense of belonging in that community. And then kind of home away from home, even if you're not that far from home, it really becomes that support network that you need. I honestly have no idea where I would be if I wasn't getting involved on campus. I majored in psychology. I really loved what I was learning in the classroom, but I just didn't know what I was going to do with it at all. And then as I was getting involved on campus, I started kind of developing or realizing that I had some of these concrete skills that I just never knew I had. From my involvement with a fraternity, I never thought I was going to join a fraternity. I thought that was something for other people, never considered it. I didn't want to buy my friends, as so many people say. But my sophomore year, an opportunity presented itself, and I kind of went at it with an open mind, and it was absolutely life-changing. So just try to keep an open mind, check different things out. This is a great opportunity to explore all different interests that you have not been able to explore before. So really put yourself out there and see what you can do.
Yeah, so I will share a little bit now. Kind of similar to Dylan, I didn't think I was going to get involved with certain things on campus. Coming to UC Santa Cruz myself as a woman of color, it was really scary. It was definitely something unknown for me, and I didn't really know how to navigate it. So just reiterating, getting involved is what really made that home away from home. And I know San Jose State kind of has that reputation of being a commuter school. That doesn't matter if you're living on campus, off campus, wherever, just making sure you're getting involved. So for myself, I got involved with the Chicanx Latinx Resource Center at UC Santa Cruz, and that's really where I found my community. So regardless of if you were super highly involved in high school or if you were just focusing on academics, it does not matter. Getting involved at your university is completely something new, so I would definitely recommend that.
And yes, all that said, college is a lot. There's a lot going on. You've got a lot to think about. So certainly, you want to make sure that you are utilizing your resources for academic success. You're getting comfortable establishing your study habits and your homework routines and everything. We don't recommend joining 20 clubs in the first week. That's not at all what we're trying to express. Just keep an open mind, check some things out, take it one step at a time, and see what you can learn. That's pretty much the best advice that we can give. And then ending with our contact info. So again, this was a lot of information really quickly. You'll be receiving more information throughout the day. So we recommend checking out our website, sjsu.edu/getinvolved. It doesn't have super up-to-date information for the fall yet, but later in the summer, we'll be posting information with dates and times and things you can get involved in and sign up for. So check back through that throughout the summer and at the beginning of the semester in the fall, and you'll be able to get lots of great information. We also have our email address and our social media accounts up there. If you're interested in following us, we'll be doing lots of great things on social media throughout the summer, different trivia questions and things like that. So definitely worth a follow. And that said, thank you all so much. We really appreciate this opportunity to speak to y'all, and we hope to see you in the fall.
Yes. We did get a question. Someone asked what a commuter student is. So someone who commutes to school. So you don't necessarily live on campus. So at San Jose State, there are a lot of housing, not necessarily on campus, but around campus. So even if you live across the street from San Jose State, you are considered a commuter student. So yeah, someone who is commuting to school.
Great question.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, thank you all so much. Please, if you have any more questions, shoot us an email. We are not physically in the office, but we will still have access to our voicemail if you call that phone number. But email is probably the best bet. Alrighty, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
We got one more quick question before we transition about the leadership retreat. If you can explain just a little bit more, very briefly.
Yes, so the Leadership Retreat, it's a 3-day collaboration with Mosaic Cross-Cultural Center and our Office of Student Involvement. So yeah, we will bus you somewhere off campus. This year we went somewhere that was about an hour away. And then, yeah, we were just housed, fed all weekend long, and just really given this space to dive deep into some social justice topics, exploring our identities and how that affects the way we show up to spaces and what we can do to, you know, really promote leadership today. Spreading that idea of inclusive leadership and how to be culturally sensitive in those kinds of spaces. So it's hard to dive too deeply into it without taking up so much time, but I am happy to address any of those questions via email or any other way afterwards.
Great. Well, thank you both so much. I don't know if there's any other questions, if you want to stick around the chat for just a little bit more. But at this time, we're going to transition over to our folks in the Writing Center.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Hager. I'm the director of the ESUHSD Writing Center. I am going to go ahead and just share my screen with you to get my PowerPoint slides going here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you all can see that correctly. Okay, there we go. So like I said, I'm Michelle Hager. I'm director of the On-Campus Writing Center. We're a support service where our goal is it's to help you improve as a writer. And I wanted to just start with covering, you know, why is writing a necessary skill? We do have some students come in who, you know, their idea is, you know, I'm an engineering major, or I'm majoring in chemistry. Why do I need to worry about writing? You know, I'm not an English major. I'm not going into journalism. Why do I have to worry about this? And the short answer is that writing is just something that you have to do regardless of your major or your professional goals. If you're trying to get a job, you need to craft a coherent cover letter that'll get your foot in the door. You need to craft resumes, you need to write emails, you need to write project reports and proposals and personal statements to get scholarship money. So writing is necessary for everyone. Basic Writing Center information. We are open whenever classes are in session, and that does include winter session. It does include during the summer. Tutoring is the biggest part of what we do, but we also offer 1-hour workshops on different writing topics. We have a bunch of special programming like writing retreats. We do small group one-on-one tutoring, like I said, and we have a bunch of resources posted online for self-study. So you can use videos, handouts, we have a blog, all of that stuff is there for you whenever you want, whenever you're ready to just look up something related to a piece of writing that you're doing. Our website and main email are listed there. On campus, we do have 2 physical locations. We're on the 2nd floor of the library, and that's reserved for appointments. So when someone makes an appointment in advance online, that's where they go. We also have a location in Clark Hall where we have drop-in tutoring, and that's intended for when people have quick questions, like last minute, like I need help with just making sure this thesis looks good or something like that. Obviously, right now, during the pandemic, online tutoring is what we're doing. We offer a whole lot of it. We use the Zoom platform, and we do include some evening clearly. Writing is a huge part of clear communication, and that's informal, academic, or professional. One thing to know about tutoring, it is a collaborative experience. So a proofreading or editing is when you give a piece of writing to someone, they mark it up and fix it for you and give it back. That's not what tutoring is. Tutoring is collaborative. You're engaged with this tutor to help you improve as a writer. We work with writers all disciplines, all grade levels, during all phases of the writing process. We will help you with any piece of writing. So that could be something for a class, or like a project or an essay or a lit review, or it could be like a cover letter you're doing for a job or a personal statement for a scholarship. Tutor training, we do follow a peer tutoring model. That means whenever you come in to work with someone at the Writing Center, that person you're working with is a peer, so it's another student. And we hire students who are sophomores all the way up through graduate level students. We have a very rigorous training program to make sure that our tutors are writing experts before they're out there working with all of you. A lot of the training occurs up front, and then it continues, the kind of monthly meetings, continued observations. We have specialized training programs, all that good stuff. And if you're listening to me thinking, wow, I'm a pretty good writer, then we are always hiring peer tutors as well. So you can apply for a job and come work with us and be a member of our team. That's another way to get involved. So what services do we offer students? So during normal times, when we have in-person services, you can usually get 2 30-minute in-person sessions a week and then 2 45-minute online sessions. You can get all of that. You can get additional assistance with quick questions through drop-ins. And then we also have, this is something we rolled out when we started with shelter in place and wanted more online services. We have a new Ask a Tutor chat service, and this is where during certain hours you can just ask a tutor a quick question who's online and there to answer it. Students who are registered with the Accessible Education Center with a disability can get extra tutoring time, as can graduate level students. So you can always request some extra time if you are a member of one of those two groups. As I mentioned, we have all kinds of resources posted online for you to use anytime. We have a full slate of workshops every semester that really range from, grammar issues to APA formatting to writing body paragraphs. Special programs, we have writing contests where you can win prizes for writing like a scary story for Halloween, that kind of thing. Course embedded tutors, I'm not going to talk too much about, but just making you aware that you might see these tutors in your classrooms. We do use our writing tutors in a bunch of different ways. Some work on the regular schedule, others are embedded in courses. So you might be enrolled in a writing intensive course, like a first-year writing course or a disciplinary writing course, in which you'll have a tutor who, for a certain number of hours per week, they're dedicated to supporting only students in your class. So they kind of become a member of the class as well. They're not grading work, they're not like the teacher. Tutors are always a form of support to help you improve as a writer. And one of the final things I wanted to just review is some common myths about Writing Center and writing centers, and really about tutoring in general. So meaning that these following are myths, they're not true. Writing Center tutors will edit, proofread, or revise student papers. Like I said, tutoring is collaborative. It involves a lot of interactive discussion with the tutor. We're not just going to take your paper, edit it for you, and then give it back. Another common myth is that Writing Center tutors can only help with grammar. That's not true. Our tutors can help you with any phase of the writing process. So they can help you with things like APA formatting, content idea development, how to do research, how to organize your ideas, and grammar. So grammar is certainly something we do help with, but there's a whole bunch of other things as well. The next one, kind of going back to the whole notion of we're not editors. The tutors aren't going to ensure like every error is corrected in a piece of writing. In your time with the tutor, let's say you have a 45-minute online appointment, you're very unlikely to like get through your whole paper. If you bring in a 10-page paper, you're not going to review the whole thing. But the idea is you go over the first few pages, focused in the area you want, like grammar or organization or whatever. And then the tutor will give you tools so you're then equipped to work on the rest of the writing on your own and kind of use the lessons and apply them, and then come back to us when you have more questions. Students do not need to have a writing product completed before they visit the Writing Center. You can come in and we will help you if you have absolutely nothing written. Like, let's say you just have a prompt from a class, an assignment sheet, and you don't know how to get started. Our tutors can help you kind of develop your ideas and get an outline going and moving toward a working thesis, stuff like that. You do not have to be in an English or a writing class to visit the Writing Center. It can be writing you're doing for any kind of class, or like I said earlier, writing you're doing personally, like to get a job. We have plenty of tutors who are undergrads and they work with graduate level students. They're trained to do it, it works. So even if when you're a senior and you come in and you work with a sophomore, they're still trained to help you. That kind of grade level difference doesn't matter. And lastly, about jobs and working with us. We hire tutors from all kinds of different disciplines, and we really want tutors from a lot of different disciplines. We are not hiring, only students who are majoring in English. We have tutors from chemistry, biology, social work, all across campus. And lastly, it's just, I wanted to save a few minutes, and I think we do have some for Q&A if you wanted to throw anything in the chat feature up there. I'll stop sharing my screen pretty soon. I have our websites listed there. My email, you can always contact me directly, or our main email. And we do create a video for Admitted Spartan Day, which you can check out through the link there. And that's where you can see kind of a video overview of some of our services. So I will stop my screen share and just see if we have any questions. So the first question I'm seeing there, what are writing retreats? So writing retreats, this is when you're given a dedicated time to write. So sometimes our writing retreats, they'll go over the span of a weekend. They'll be like half days on Saturday, half day on Sunday, and you'll have time to just be there virtually now, with others who are writing. It's kind of lightly guided, where you will have a facilitator who will present some tips maybe at the beginning, then you'll have an hour to write, then you'll have a break, then you'll have another little tip, a bit more time for writing. The idea is you're being given time to really focus on the writing that you need to do. The other question I see here is, how much would it cost to have a tutor? Nothing. We are absolutely free. So we serve all members of the campus community, and you never have to pay. Any other questions that anyone wanted to throw out there? That's all I have, Amanda.
Great, thank you so much, Michelle. I was going to ask if you could talk a little bit about the homegrown handouts that are on the website.
Sure. So on our website, we have a resources page. If you click on that link, you'll find links to our videos, our blog, and like Amanda mentioned, what we call our homegrown handouts. We have over 100 of these at this point. They're resources. They're all created by our tutors, and these are handouts that address all kinds of different writing concepts. So if you have a quick question when you're writing, like, let's say a teacher tells you you're writing comma splices too much, fix that problem. You can go online to one of our handouts and look at our handout on comma splices, and it'll help you fix it. And we have topics on grammar, different kinds of writing you might do, like research papers, APA formatting. It has a big range.
That's awesome. Yeah, it definitely helped me a lot when I was a student to be able to kind of go back there and be like, all right, how can I do this real quick?
I'm glad to hear it.
Very much appreciated. Thank you for joining us today. If anyone has any other questions for Michelle from our Writing Center, please put those in the chat. At this time, though, we are going to go ahead and transition to our next presenter in Financial Aid and Scholarship Office.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carolyn Gould. I'm one of the Associate Directors for the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office, and I wanted to welcome you this morning. Just a couple information about me, since we're sharing a little bit about each other. I do consider myself a true product of San Jose State. My mom came over in the 60s, so way back when, as a Peace Corps, or as a Fulbright scholarship from the Philippines. She was a recipient, and so she came over and actually was sent to San Jose State. My dad was a professor in the English department. They got tag teamed together to actually teach Peace Corps volunteers Tagalog before they headed back to the Philippines. So they met, fell in love, got married, and here I am. So I actually also did complete my undergrad at San Jose State. So I guess it's been destiny that I have pretty much have been raised as a Spartan. Also, another fun fact about me is I am a mom to 2 Eastside Union graduates. One of them is a senior. So you guys are the resilient bunch. My daughter is part of you guys, and so we do understand everything that you guys have been going through, losing out on your senior year, not having everything as you thought it was going to be, but just think about it. You guys are all prepared and ready to get going for college, okay? So what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about some financial aid stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Can you guys see that? Okay. So a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to have some basic understanding of your charges and what you could owe. We're going to look a little bit at your student center, how to read your financial aid award screens and your customer accounts, and some important deadlines to keep in mind. A lot of this information I'm going to share with you is going to be information that you can also share with your parents, and also information that you're going to be able to use throughout your time here at San Jose State. Okay, so when you first looked at colleges, you get this what's called your cost of attendance, and you get a lot of sticker shock around it. So even at San Jose State, you may look at this and go, oh my God, it's going to cost almost 30 grand to go to San Jose State for 1 year if I were to live on campus. But what you need to look at when you look at this number is just the undergraduate fees, because these are actual hard costs direct costs that you will need to pay the university for your tuition. And then the rest of these figures, transportation, personal expenses, books and supplies, and room and board, these are all estimates that you can actually change or work around depending upon how you choose to live. Now remember, these are for numbers for students who are going to be living on campus. So if you're going to be commuting, as we defined earlier, and living at home, obviously your room and board is going to be a lot cheaper because you're going to still be living with mom and dad. Okay? So when you register for your classes, which will be part of your orientation process, you're going to actually start to see your charges appear on your customer account. Okay, so for 1 semester of San Jose State, your charges for your classes will be $39.28. Remember, your charges will appear on a semester basis. Remember that number I showed you in the previous screen was for the year. So how can you make your payments on those classes? You can sign up for what's called an installment payment plan. You sign up when you register for your classes, and it actually breaks up those charges into monthly payments starting in July. So that could be a good option for your parents or for you if you are paying for your own education on how to actually manage the amount of that tuition charge rather than trying to make a bulk payment of $3,900. You could actually break it up into 4 months starting in July. Another option is if you're going to have a third party who's going to be paying your fees. If your parents were veterans or they are eligible for the Cal Vet waiver, you want to make sure that they start the paperwork going on that so that they can get the information to the bursar's office to be able to waive your classes. Also, if you are participating in vocational rehab, Or if you are receiving any outside scholarships that are not San Jose State related, you want to make sure that those donors actually send the checks to San Jose State and let us know. That way we can go ahead and apply that to your account. The Bursar's office website is right down here, so you want to make sure that you contact them if you're going to be part of any of these third-party options, as well as if you have any information on signing up for the payment plan. Now here's a slide on the payment due dates. So you can see that if your charges are going to be going, housing or registration charges are going to be posted to your account prior to July 4, your first payment due date will be July 10. And if you sign up for the installment payment plan, you'll see that you have those 4 payment due dates. So it's roughly usually around the 9th or 10th of every month, okay? The later that you sign up for the payment plan, the less number of months that you have to actually make those payments. So obviously the sooner you sign up for the payment plan, the the less you have to pay because you spread out those payments over 4 months versus the 2 months. Okay, this slide is also on the Bursar's website, so you're able to share this with your parents as well. So if you don't have any of those options to help pay for your charges, you can apply for what's called financial aid. So financial aid is the assistance that's offered to you and your family to help meet that gap, to be able to help you contribute towards your education and what it costs to attend college. Financial aid could be in the form of federal grants, state grants, federal loans, scholarships, as well as work study. The loans can also be borrowed by both the student and the parent. Okay, so most of you have applied for FAFSA already. You guys mostly know that that application is at this FAFSA website. If you are considered an undocumented student, you would be applying for the Cal Dream Act application, and the application's there. What you want to remember is that you do need to apply for FAFSA every year. So every year that you want to be considered for financial aid, you want to make sure that you complete your FAFSA by March 2nd. So it's going to open up again in October, and you have just started your first year here at San Jose State. You want to make sure that you file your FAFSA again starting in October, but make sure you meet the priority filing date of March 2nd. Okay. So here's a copy of someone's student center. So we had to block out some information. So there's some data that you can't see because it pertains to that student that we used. But what you want to make sure is you get familiar with this student center that each of you have. Okay, so what you want to look for is you want to make sure you have no current messages. This is the messaging system that the university uses. So we will look at and send you messages. So you want to make sure that you have read those and that you respond or take action on those. Also, you want to see if there's a missing items. You would be looking on your to-do list. Again, this is where the financial aid office as well as admissions has been communicating with you to make sure that you if there's any missing documents that we need, that you have turned them into us. If there's any holds from any departments, they'll be listed there, as well as if there's any other indicators. And we'll talk about what other indicators could be. In this next screen, you'll be able to see, this is the bottom half of that prior students center. If the student, see how the student had financial aid, they're able to view their aid, and they're also able to accept and decline their awards. Okay, if they had a payment plan, they'd be able to sign up for the payment plan here. So you just want to make sure that you are familiar with your student center, because it is going to be the way that the university will be communicating with you. Okay, so as we talked about the to-do list, for those of you who were selected for verification, which is a random selection done by the federal government, you may have needed to turn in some documents to us. You were messaged that information, and then they were also assigned to you on your to-do list. So you want to make sure that you have turned those documents in, because the priority filing deadline was May 15th, but I think we extended it to the 22nd. But if you haven't met the deadline yet, you still can turn those documents. In fact, I encourage you to do it as soon as possible. If you know that there's outstanding to-do items and you need some help getting those completed to us, my last slide will have my contact information, and I want you to make sure you reach out and let me know what you need help with. I know Amanda's manning a Q&A. I want to make sure that you guys, if you're using the Q&A, don't ask any personal information regarding your account or your information. for confidentiality and privacy reasons, we want to kind of keep that Q&A very general, okay? For fee deferral, so when you register for classes and you are a financial aid recipient, we will place what's called a registration fee deferral on your account. What that means is that it delays the payment of your registration fees. So when you register, and I told you your first due date would be July 10, if you have a fee deferral on your account, which you'll be able to see on your student center and under other indicators, you do not have to make that July 10th due date. Okay, so again, if you have the fee deferral on your account under other indicators, and you'll be able to see that now for some of you, you do not need to make that July 10th payment. Okay, if you do not have the fee deferral, you want to make sure that you have turned in all of the documents by June 26th to make sure that we can issue you a fee deferral. If you do not have a fee deferral on your account by the June 26th deadline, then you do need to make your payment by July 10th to hold your classes. Our financial aid registration fee deferral does not defer any housing charges. So once your housing charges do appear, July 10th will be that first payment due date. Okay, so now a student who has financial aid, you can go through, and on the Student Center, remember I showed you how you can view your financial aid award. This is what someone would see. So you can see this student was eligible for a Pell Grant and a state university grant, and they were also offered some loans and the opportunity to do work study. So what you want to do is look at our financial aid award, or look at your financial aid award notice, and notice that the awards are done for a year. So these are done on a yearly basis. So for you to make sure that you have enough aid to cover your semester charges, you would need to divide these amounts by 2 to make sure that you have enough to cover your one semester charge. So you also can only use the accepted amounts, not the offered amounts, until you actually accept them, because you need to make sure that you want to take out those loans. Okay, so you would take these grant amounts, divide them by 2, I did a little example here, and then subtract that amount that you would receive from each semester's charges, and then there would be a credit due to that student of about $21.16. Okay, so here's another student's financial aid award notice, and this student was only eligible for loans. There's going to be a loan in the student's name for the unsubsidized, and then there's also a parent loan that the parent could actually borrow to help pay for educational expenses. These cannot be used or counted for until they're actually accepted. So this is a discussion that you would have to have with your family if you're choosing to take out the loans. Once you actually accept the loans, there'll be other items placed on your to-do list, such as a promissory note, entrance loan counseling, for both you and your parents, so that you understand your rights and responsibilities about being a student loan borrower. Okay. So we always get asked, when do I get my money? When does disbursement begin? So we cannot disperse any funds on a student's account until the first week of the semester. So I think it's going to be mid-August. I want to say it's the 19th, but I'm not 100% positive of when the first day of school is. We will begin disbursement that first week, and then we will electronically apply to your student account and pay any outstanding charges first. So anything left over after that has happened will then go to the student. Financial aid can be used to help pay for your registration fees, your housing fees, as well as any other educational costs, such as books, parking, computer, laptops, stuff, software, anything like that. You can use any extra credit that you've received after your registration and housing fees have been paid for to help pay for any of those educational costs. Okay, so what different types of aid does San Jose State participate in? We participate in all the federal and state grant and loan programs. I'll briefly go over this. Grants is money that you do not have to repay. So we typically call it our free aid, your free gift, okay? The first program is the federal Pell Grant. The maximum amount is about $63.95 for those with the highest need. It may be prorated based upon less than full-time enrollment. Full-time enrollment is considered 12 units. There's also the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. That maximum award is about $500 with the highest need. That award will come out later this summer for those students, because we need to make sure we have, see what the Department of Education is going to be giving to us. as to determine how much we're able to award for fall semester. So look at for that award later on in the summer. For the state grants, we do participate in the Cal Grant A and B. Those are awarded by the California Student Aid Commission. To be eligible for those grants, you needed to have completed your FAFSA or Cal Dream Act application by March 2nd. These are the estimated amounts of those awards. Those of you who have been awarded Cal Grant should have received a letter from the California Student Aid Commission. They probably came out around November, December, letting you know how much you could be eligible for. If you were awarded Cal Grant and you have that letter, but you don't see it on your financial aid notice from San Jose State, it's because you need to do a little bit of work for that grant. CSAC needs you to actually create an account under Web Grants for Students. Here's the web address here. They need you to actually confirm your high school graduation date, which will be June of this year, and then actually claim your Cal Grant by selecting your college. So remember when you filed your FAFSA, you listed about 3, 4, 5, 9 schools that you could list. They need you to now confirm and say which school you are going to be attending in the fall. That way they can send the Cal Grant to us. Okay, so you want to make sure, if you have Cal Grant, to make sure you go ahead and confirm your graduation date and claim your Cal Grant by letting them know which school you have selected. Okay, those of you who may not have been eligible for Cal Grant would have been awarded the State University Grant, which is similar in terms of value, but students cannot receive both Cal Grant A and the State University Grant. So it's usually going to be an either or process. In addition to the state grants of Cal Grant and State University Grant, there's also the EOP grant. So for those of you who have been admitted into the EOP program, there's going to be a small grant that will be added to your financial aid award notice. Once we've received all of the information from EOP regarding who is going to be admitted into their program for the fall, we will be adding that grant onto students' award notices. So you can also check back during the summer to see if once that gets added. The Middle Class Scholarship is another program that's administered by the California Student Aid Commission. They make those awards in late September. Again, it's for those students who have completed their FAFSA or DREAM Act by March 2nd. And this is for those students and families who usually have a little bit of a higher income, who may not qualify for any federal or other state aid, but could qualify for this middle class. It's usually for those students who have assets or income up to $184,000. So they could receive a small scholarship towards the payment of their state fees. So the loan programs that we participate in from the Federal Department of Education, there's the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Remember, these are loans that you will need to borrow and that you must pay back. Repayment on these loans does begin 6 months after graduation. There is also the Parent Plus loan. That is a credit-based loan that the parent could actually borrow in their name. So you would need to talk to your parents if they are choosing to do that. If you are planning to take out these loans, you do need to accept your loans on your MySJSU to actually start the entire loan process. The accept and decline feature is now active on your Student Center portal. So you want to, if you are planning to take out those loans, you do need to go ahead and start accepting them now to allow you enough time to do the promissory note and the entrance loan counseling. Work study. So a little bit about the work study program. So this is actually allows students to actually gain some work experience while they help pay for their college expenses. It's an opportunity for you to actually work on campus. It's not necessarily a grant or anything like that, but you do have the opportunity to actually earn some funds to help pay for your college expenses. Only the students that are awarded federal work study can actually apply for work study positions. The Career Center actually holds the jobs for the university as to who is hiring for work study. When you go on the Career Center's website, you'll see this link for the handshake, and you can actually start going through that to see what jobs are available. There's probably not available right now. There's probably not a lot of jobs available right now because we are in the middle of summer. Also, a lot of the employers on campus are trying to revamp their positions into virtual opportunities. That way students can actually have the opportunity to work still during the fall semester, even though we're going to be mostly distance learning. But there are still jobs that are going to be available. In fact, we do have some positions for summer that our current work study position or our current work study students are doing for us. Okay. Again, incoming students, you guys cannot start working until actually the start of the fall semester when school begins. Okay. So some scholarships. So scholarships, free money. That's basically just how the Writing Center was talking about, helping you actually come up with your personal statement or helping you write an essay to win a scholarship. That's where you can start using all the different services around campus to help you actually try and win some free money. The scholarship deadline for San Jose State scholarships has actually closed already. It was due on May 1st, but it will open up again in January. So you can actually apply in January with this website, and actually you'll have until May 1 again next year to actually apply again. So also you want to check with your department, your major department, to see if they have any other additional scholarship opportunities. Some of the departments tend to have their own and may not share it all completely with the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office. Also, there could be scholarships on outside, maybe your parent's employer, or maybe you actually won something during graduation from your high school. So you want to make sure to, if you have received a scholarship, that it is coming to San Jose State. Let them know, that way we can get it applied to your customer account as well. Okay. So here's my contact information. Again, while we are all working remotely, please email me if you guys have any questions whatsoever. Also, if you need, maybe your parents want to hear a little bit more about this, or they need some further clarification of what you're going to share with them from what you learned today, we can set up a Zoom with you guys, with the parents there. I do just need to have you as a student there, because as for privacy, you'll start learning about FERPA and privacy regulations. I can't really talk to the parents unless the student has given permission. So while we're in a virtual environment, I do want you as a student to be there. Plus, it's also good for you guys to know what's going on in terms of your financial aid or your expenses, in terms of your registration charges. That way you have an idea, and you know, for your own knowledge base as to what you could be expending for school. Okay, so again, my contact information is there. If you have any other questions, please let me know. We do also have a live chat feature on our website from the hours of 10 to 3. So you can also speak to a live person off our chat feature Monday through Friday from 10 to 3. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, Amanda, I'm good.
We have a couple questions actually for you in the chat. I don't know if there's any that you want to answer live, or if you want to answer through the chat there. Starting off with, how do you accept awards, and where can you see this on my SJSU?
You can accept awards. The only awards that you would be accepting would be your loan offers. So remember, your grants, we're going to already accept them for you. So there isn't any need to do that. It would all be off of your student center. So you want to check your MySJSU portal, get to your student center, and you should be able to see the link to accept and decline your awards. And again, it would only be your loans. Okay, let's see. Someone asked, I did not receive any awards yet. You want to actually check with us. Again, you do not receive any of the money per se. It's going to come to the school first. It's going to pay any outstanding charges, and then anything left over will go to you. And disbursements do not happen until the first week of school. So if there's a question as to why you can't view your award notice yet, you do want to contact us and the financial aid office, so that way we can see if there's missing documents or anything like that. If you've already claimed your Cal Grant and you don't see it, please give us, email us, either email me, or you can actually email our office, and then we can check and see if the California Student Aid Commission has added you to our roster. They do only send us a roster change once a month. So if you did it in the month of May, it'll probably come in the middle of June. So just give the California Student Aid Commission as well as us some time to update the awards. And let's see. Applying for work study, it's done through your FAFSA application. So remember, on your FAFSA, you indicated if you wanted to be considered for work study. If you did not ask to be considered for work study, you can contact us, and then we can see if you do have eligibility for that, and then we can add it to your award. Again, you cannot accept work study. What happens is, once you have been hired by an employer and they let the financial aid office know that you are there going to be working for them, then we will accept that award on your MySJSU. So it isn't something per se that you would accept. It would be done by the, it'll be done once you are hired by an employer. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. If anyone does have more questions, please continue to utilize the chat. You can also, again, send an email as well. At this time, we are going to transition to our next presenter from Peer Connections.
Amanda, can I share my screen now?
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, first and foremost, I just want to say good morning, everybody. I hope you all are having a very happy Friday. It's really great to be here. I just want to first introduce myself. My name is Long. I'm the Peer Mentor Coordinator here at Peer Connections. What Peer Connections essentially is we offer support to students through tutoring, mentoring, supplemental instruction, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it today. But what we're going to be talking about today is relationship building in college and why it's so important. Personally, when I was in college, I was really focused on my academics, and I was also focused on the social component of college and just building a network, connecting with faculty, connecting with staff, connecting with other peers. This is so important just because, you know, while you're in college, you're probably going to be meeting the most people that you've ever met in your life in the span of 4 years. So while you're in college, really take this time to build meaningful relationships, to make these connections, because after you graduate college with your degree, which you all will, you'll have these connections already. I want to tell you all a little bit about myself. I went to UC Santa Barbara, graduated with a degree in sociology. I then chose to pursue a master's degree in counseling at San Jose State University. And I can tell you this, all of my jobs that I've ever gotten, it was through like a referral, like somebody who knew me referred me to the job and said, hey, Long, we have an opening here. Do you want to apply for this job? And not gonna lie, my first job was at Quiznos. I made this connection with a friend in high school. I was getting paid $6.75, but that was my very first job. But yeah, this is why I'm saying like building relationships are so important to your future. So definitely really pay attention today. I definitely think that often there's a heavy emphasis on just getting A's, doing well on the academic side, but the social component is equally as important. Now, at the end, if I'm not able to answer all of your questions, please write down my email address, long.fan@sjsu.edu. If you have any questions during the fall, I'd be more than happy to help you as well too. So definitely write down my contact. All right, so with that said, on today's agenda, we're going to do a quick icebreaker. I'm going to talk about why relationship building in college matters. I'm going to talk about how to build a relationship with staff and faculty. I'm also going to talk about the benefits of connecting with staff and faculty. I'm also going to talk about how to build a relationship with other peers, what the benefits of connecting with other peers are. I'm going to talk about some resources that can help you while at SJSU. We'll probably have time for some questions and then closing. All right, so really quick, Amanda, if you can help me to see who raised their hand to just pick them. But I want to question and really think about this, because when I ask students this question, a lot of times, I would say a fraction of the time, they don't know. And, you know, are you in college because that's the norm? People go to high school, then they go to college. You know, why are you at SJSU? what is the outcome that you're seeking? So can I have a couple of volunteers, maybe 3 or 4 people, kind of share, why are you at SJSU? What is the outcome seeking?
Feel free to share either in the chat or just opening your mic. Okay, so we have a response here from Alexa. I chose SJSU because it has a great program for my major and it's close to home. Ricky shared to obtain new skills for the workforce.
Let's get a few more.
Okay. Swan says for internships. Jeffrey, I felt like I should go there, having seen the school all my life. Who else? Yeah, and feel free to use the chat or turn on your microphone.
Yeah, really ask yourself these questions. It's definitely going to give you a better insight in terms of your purpose and the ultimate outcome. Typically, when I do connect with freshmen, they typically don't know. They typically say, oh, like, I don't know what I want to do yet, or I'm just in school because it's the norm. Like, what else am I supposed to do? It's really important to have a reason. Amanda, were there any more?
There are, yes. So we have Monty that says the outcome seeking is to be well connected in music education since I want to teach in the Bay. Alyssa said, I plan on establishing a solid foundation for my future in the field I am most passionate about. Sang Che says, I'm at SJSU because I want to look for things I want to do. That's great. I definitely did that while I was here as well. Malaya says, great connections after college so I can become a teacher and give back to my community on East Side. That's awesome. Fernando,
Awesome.
yeah, Fernando shared looking for a major that I want to pursue. And then our last one here is Daniel and Carolina. So Daniel says, staying close to family and using the opportunities that schools offers compared to others. And Carolina, it was a great option financially and it has a great program for my major.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. It seems like the majority of all of your responses has to do with getting a better education, getting a better job, networking, putting yourself in a better position to be successful in the future. And I do want to mention, while it is really important to maintain grades, it's equally as important to develop meaningful relationships. And most importantly, having fun. Make sure that while you're attending SJSU, everything is balanced, making sure that you're getting your academics done, making sure that you are having fun, making sure that you are making these connections. All right, so let's look at why relationship building in college matters. Relationships with family, friends, teachers, mentors, and other supportive people are a key factor in your likelihood to succeed. By building these strong relationships early on, you feel supported and important. Knowing they have a support system that can rely on helps to boost their confidence and pushes them to success. What I will say is that I've noticed while at San Jose State is a lot of students that I've come across. I used to be an advisor, and the students that I would be in contact with or have a lot of questions and things like that, they tend to graduate more in a timely manner, just because they know the resources, they feel supported, they have friends, they connect with faculty and things like that. So it's really important. Communicating to students how important post-secondary degree completion is from early on as their academic journey is key to implementing a college-going culture both at home and school. What's really, really important to remember is, in the beginning, when we did the icebreaker, we talked about the outcome. What do you want to get out of San Jose State, or what's the ultimate outcome? Are you going to San Jose State because you want to meet more people, you want to get more educated, you want to find a good job? These are all things that are really, really important, because school is it's only going to be 4 years of your life, and then you have the rest of your life ahead of you. So during this time where you're able to connect with multiple people, developing skills, it's going to be crucial for the rest of your life. And like I said, developing your strengths and skills are very important after college. What you may not realize at this very moment is after you graduate from SJSU, you're going to be in the job market looking for a job. Now, there's going to be other people who graduated from their schools. Maybe it's Stanford, Berkeley, UCLA. They're all looking for jobs as well too. What separates you from them? A lot of times it's your network and who you know. Contrary to popular student belief, professors are more than just lecturers. Professors are professionals, intellectuals, researchers, analysts, artists, musicians, writers, parents, and more. Professors dedicate their lives to educating you and are some of the greatest resources you can find. So these are people that are experts in the field. You know, if you are going into engineering and your professor teaches an engineering course, they know a lot about that field. So definitely pick their brain. They're here to help you. And also, professors are the ones who will write your recommendations letters for your next job, but only if they know you. So this is why it's so important to develop these relationships, because if you do well in the class, if you know your professor, if they know you by name, they would definitely be more willing to help you get a job if you ask them to write you a letter of rec. So how to build a relationship with staff and faculty. This is really difficult sometimes, right? Because we could be shy or we don't know how to approach our faculty. It's challenging. I put down 6 tips that can help you develop a relationship with staff and faculty. Number 1, you can't sit in front of the classroom in the fall just because your classes will be through Zoom and you cannot sit in the front of the class. So how you can be fully present is to really, while you're in class via Zoom, really limit your distraction. You're paying all this money to get this education. Make sure that you're fully present and getting out from the class what you're seeking. Number 2, kind of go hand in hand, just be attentive and participate actively. Really, really try your best to stay focused, be engaged, know what's going on in the class. I know it's going to be hard just because some of your classes may be back to back and through Zoom and things like that. But it's really important that you want to develop these good habits starting off college. You want to start it off right. The 3rd tip is ask questions when you do not understand the material. I see this time and time again. A lot of students during class are really shy. They don't want to ask a question in front of the whole class when the whole class may have the same question and things like that. So really, really try to get out of your comfort zone to ask these questions. Utilizing office hours. I cannot stress how important office hours are. If you're too shy to ask your question in class in front of the 200 people, you want to go to office hours. And I can give you an example that really helped me. I wasn't good in math. I would go to office hours every week while I was at Santa Barbara. And I was at the brink between a C- and a C. I'm pretty sure I should have gotten a C-, but miraculously, somehow, I got a C. And the reason why I think I got that is because I think the professor saw that I worked really, really hard and I really, really tried, and I went to office hours, and that really helped me in my favor. Number 5 is treat your faculty and staff as you would like others to treat you. That's pretty self-explanatory. And really, the last tip is just to be proactive. Don't wait to fail your first midterm to talk to your faculty member. Be very proactive. Check in with your TA, check in with your faculty, check in with staff, just so you know what's going on and you don't run into problems later down the line. The benefits to connecting with staff and faculty, you know, from what you all said earlier in the beginning, is that you want to find a job, you want to network. Faculty and staff, they make great references. They can also let you know about internship, job opportunities. After this presentation, I'm gonna share my email again with you. Remember, I'm the peer mentor coordinator. I look for student staff every semester. So if all goes well and, you know, you're interested in a peer educator role, you can always email me and say, hey, Long, can you tell me more about these positions? And I'll be more than happy to let you know. Staff can also help you understand the university and the policy. They can also help answer career questions and build your networking. It can also develop your interpersonal skills and your professionalism. Knowing how to approach faculty, staff is also really important as well too. And honestly, think about your classes in high school. Think about the connections that you made with really, really cool teachers. Didn't it make going to that class more enjoyable? I would say for many people would say it did. And the benefits of connecting with faculty and staff is they may help you more willingly. So definitely don't overlook this and definitely make those connections with faculty and staff. Now, how to build a relationship with other peers. First and foremost, I would just say take initiative, get out of your comfort zone. You know, while in college, this is your opportunity to grow. I want to share a funny story with you all, but when I went to UC Santa Barbara, I'm originally from Richmond, California, so it's in the East Bay. I went to Santa Barbara. My first week there, I had like my gold teeth on, I had my gold chain. I felt really different from everybody else, and I didn't want to talk to anybody because I felt like they were different from me. And I stopped being shy, started making friends, and till this day, my closest friends were from Santa Barbara. They're texting me right now. So it's really, really cool that I developed these relationships that's gonna last a lifetime. Number two, another tip is to invite conversations by providing a glimpse into your personal life. You know, share what you're comfortable sharing, but give people a sense of who you are. Number three is to establish rapport. What I like to do is I like to find common ground with people. Obviously, like I'm not going to connect or have in common with every single person, but I find ways to connect. Like if somebody's wearing a Golden State Warriors sweater, I'll say, oh, nice sweater. I really like the Warriors. Or what I purposely do is I hang a bunch of banners and Warriors tickets in my office and my favorite sports teams. And that helps me connect with people. Number four, how to build a relationship with other peers. It's just a smile. I think a lot of more people feel welcomed when they're welcomed with a smile. So don't underestimate the power of a smile. And just be yourself. I think there's so much pressure with social media on being like somebody else, you know, in a world where we can be anything, you know, just be you. Being you is good enough. The benefits of connecting with other peers, it's kind of like with the faculty, you get to network a little more. You build more meaningful relationships. Just like I mentioned, friends that I have from Santa Barbara are still my friends today. They provide knowledge as well and advice. They can also give you referrals to a job and saying, hey, Long, my company is hiring. Do you need a reference? And job opportunities as well. I know I'm running out on time a little bit, so I'm trying to go through this a little bit. A resource that can really, really help you all is our mentoring services from Peer Connections. They can help you adjust socially to SJSU and even give you tips and tools for academic strategies. So keep this in mind. The cool part about peer mentors are they're students just like yourself. The only difference between you and them is they've been at San Jose State a little longer. They've been doing really, really well academically, and they're your peers. They're students. They're just seasoned students. And some of the things that they can help you with is strategies for effective communication with faculty, with staff, with other peers, and life skills. They can also help you with strategies for studying, note-taking, test-taking, critical thinking, listening, reading, time management, stress management, personal situations, adjusting to life at SJSU, navigating the university experience. Consider peer mentors as a friend. Amanda, do we still have time for any questions?
Yes, we do.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, I do want to share my email address again, which is long, L-O-N-G, .fan, P-H-A-N, @sjsu.edu. If you need anything, have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. I want you to know that, I fully support you all. I know fall semester isn't the semester that you all had in mind, but we'll get through it. And I think you all will do great. With that said, if you want to follow our social media handles, we do have a Facebook page, we do have Instagram, we do have a Twitter. So this would be a great way for you all to be well informed in regards to what we're doing, learn more about our services. And yeah, like I said, thank you all so much. We're all so excited to welcome you to our Spartan family, and we look forward to seeing you this fall.
Great. Thank you so much, Long. Thank you to all of our presenters who joined us today, shared about your resources. If you also have questions, we do still have a Writing Center, Financial Aid, and of course, Peer Connections here. So you can feel free to put those questions in the chat here. Just a couple things I want to talk about real quick before we end our session today. I'm going to share my screen. Alrighty, so just a couple reminders here. One, again, do make sure that you use the chat feature for any questions that you have. As several of our speakers mentioned, continue to check your MySJSU account. If there's any messages or to-do list items, especially if it's something related to financial aid or has a very specific deadline, you want to make sure that you get those completed timely and follow through there. Other reminder, don't forget to check the Google Classroom, as there are some assignments there for you to be able to complete to prepare for the next sessions. We do have one in there as well to help get ready for Monday and Tuesday's session, which is all about academic planning. So some of our College Success Centers and our Academic Advising Retention Services will be joining us once again to be able to help in creating your schedule for the fall, to start to explore those e-advising tools and begin your academic planning process. So make sure that if you are able to join us on Monday and Tuesday, that you do so, that you engage with that process, prepare for it, use that homework assignment to really be ready for that next session, and prepare to, for next week. Next week we are going to have several different components. So again, starting with the academic planning, we're going to have on Wednesday the 10th, our new Student and Family Programs Office join us to talk about how to get, or rather how your families and your support networks can support you through this next step. So please do invite your parents, your family members to join us on Wednesday the 10th, as we will have a session that is designed for our families. As we've said a couple times during this process, college can be a family-going experience, especially now that we are going to be able to, that we are going to be remote during this time and taking our classes from home. So you want to make sure that, they are engaged, they're all up to date, and you communicate. You have those open lines of communication with each other through this next process here. We had a couple questions just throughout the week about accessing the Google Classroom. So just a reminder here, start right here, that it is accessible with your SJSU email. So you're going to want to use that code that is listed here, log in, and you can have access to all of those assignments, the recordings from previous courses. So if there's anything that you missed, or maybe your friend's been wanting to be part of the program, but they can't make it during that particular time, they can go back and view those recordings, fill out the evaluation form so we know, how to continue to improve our programming. Also, check out our Flipgrid. So flipgrid.com/plus SESP Week 1 wrap up, and see our mixtape for the week. So thank you to those that have been participating so far, have been sharing your stories, sharing your questions, your concerns. It's been great starting to get to know you this way. Our team here is really going through those and planning on how to continue to help you through this next process. So continue to share. Check out our wrap up of Week 1, some of our highlighted stories here in that mixtape on Week 1 wrap up. So once again, continue to share. We're going to have various topics today and throughout next week as well. As you continue to access this program and go through each of the steps that we have available for you. So at this time, we do want to make sure that this program is as useful as possible for you, is in a format that is efficiently presented and really works for the learning style that we are presented with at this time. So I do want to go into a second poll here of your preferences. So for the past couple of days, we have either gone through presenting as a large group. We've shifted to presenting with a large group and then breakout sessions. We've presented with, or we are thinking about some with which just breakout sessions. And we want to see moving forward, what are some of your preferences? Do you prefer just the large group session only? Do you prefer having those breakouts? Do you not have a preference? You're good with if it's a mixture of both? Let us know here. We definitely want to make sure, again, that we adapt as much as possible to make sure this program is accessible for you and useful for what you are seeking. So continue to vote there. And as you're continuing to vote, I just want to open it up for any of our team members if there's anything that you'd like to share, any reminders, any notes that you would want to just share with students. Just waiting for a couple more responses before we close the poll. And then if you have any questions, continue to put those through the chat. Okay, so we do have a question here about the RCW, so our Reflection of College Writing. So this typically has to be done a week prior to your orientation. So if your orientation is the 25th, you want to make sure you get it done by like that 17th, the 18th of June. If your orientation is next week, the 11th, you want to get that Reflection of College Writing done today. It is accessible on Canvas, which you can access at one.sjsu.edu. And you want to make sure that you get that done at least, at minimum, a week prior to your orientation. Now, that being said, if your orientation is sometime in July, you could do that reflection and get it out of the way now and not have to wait as it leads up to your orientation. It does take roughly about 3 hours to complete. There's 5 different modules in there. You do not have to do them all in one sitting. You could start it, go have lunch, then come back and finish it, or however you want to do that, space it out. But it does have to be completed at least a week prior to your orientation. And then with the Tower ID, you can feel free to schedule a Zoom session with me, and you could be able to share your screen during that time. I'll put up the link to schedule the appointment because that'll be the easiest way to answer that question. So one moment here. All right, it looks like everyone did answer our poll. For transparency, we'll go ahead and share those results here. All righty, so it looks like a majority, there's no preference. A lot of you like the large session. Some of you do like those breakout sessions as well, but the majority is no preference there. So we will adjust. We'll be able to have this mixture in the classes. And again, these sessions are going to be recorded and available to you through the website or the Google Classroom to always be able to go back to and check. Let's see our other questions here. This question, it looks like, is for financial aid. It says,
I'm here.
okay, so our question
So someone just claimed their Cal Grande from CSAC. How long will it take? I'd probably give it about 3 to 4 weeks. CSAC needs to let us know from their monthly roster pool, and then we will be able to add it to your SJSU financial aid award.
great, thank you. Okay. Other questions? Okay, we have another question here. Can we access the Zoom session on the financial aid section? Yes, so the today's entire course will be posted later on this afternoon in the Google Classroom. Okay, and then I'm putting a link here as well. So this is my personal appointment link. So calendly.com/SJSU_SCSP/15 minutes. So if you do have questions that are a little bit more like, oh, we gotta like see your account, or questions about any steps in the process, please feel free to schedule an appointment there at a time and date that is most convenient for you. Alrighty, if there are no more questions, I do want to once again open it if any of our team members want to share anything, any reminders. But that being said, if not, definitely continue to check that classroom. Oh, I meant, how do we, oh, okay. So actually, again, for financial aid, how do they make an appointment with you? I think, Carolyn, you mentioned they should email you directly.
Yes, if you can go ahead and email me, carolyn.guel@sjsu.edu. On the presentation, the last slide had my email address, and yeah, email me and then we can look about making some type of appointment.
Great, and thank you so much for making yourself available for that. And I'll put your email in the chat here as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Alrighty, everyone. Well, once again, thank you for joining us today. Take care, have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Bye, everybody. Let's see.